Hello, and welcome to the FLICK Critic Reviews and Interviews. I'm your host, John SMISTAD, and these are my takes on films both new and not so, spanning a wide range of genres and tastes, plus conversations with some of the coolest people in indie entertainment. Now, let us rock with this one, shall we? My guest today is Gretchen McGowan. Gretchen is a veteran of independent film producing. She has a book out. It is called Flying In, My Adventures in Filmmaking. First of all, Gretchen, welcome to the FLICK Critic Reviews and Interviews. It is a real pleasure to have you.
Thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here.
So we're going to go straight into the book here. Now, you produced independent films 4 years. Heavy is one of them. Buffalo 66, which I have seen and really enjoyed. You had a hand in both of those films. What can we expect to find in your book? What can we expect to experience? And what do you want people to get out of your book, Flying In, Gretchen?
You know, I wrote the book after having lived through it for many years. And I was teaching a class in pre-production at Columbia University. And it occurred to me, as I'm telling these stories and sharing not just the how-to, but what really goes down, that their eyes were wide open because they're taught theoretically what will happen. And I really felt like sharing these experiences and being really honest about the process would be an eye-opening and fun experience, because there are so many stories from the underbelly that don't necessarily get shared. We read so many wonderful books from authors who are actors or big producers, big directors, but their perspective is different from someone like me. So I sort of pitch it as the inside out. You're in it, you're in the grit, you're there when everything goes wrong, you're there when the not so sexy stuff happens, and you're there when all the fun stuff happens too.
You have, like you talked about, all producers have fires. You put that out, you got 2 more fires. You got petulant actors and actresses at different levels you have to deal with. You have agents, you have parents sometimes of performers that you have to deal with. You have deadlines that you didn't meet and you have to push back. You've got all this crap coming down on you and it never ends. Why in the hell do you keep doing it, Gretchen?
We like to say that as producers, we do not have 20/20 vision in hindsight. If we really remembered it, we wouldn't do it again. But we keep getting back in and doing it again. We're not sure what else we'd do if we didn't do this.
I forgot the most fun part, getting the money for the project. Yeah. That's always a joy, isn't it?
It's an uphill battle, and so many, as you say, what a week to be talking about putting out fires, but we always do use that expression because it feels like you're pouncing on them. And just when you've got something under control, well, it's usually the thing you didn't see coming that pounces up in another area. Like, oof, what could I have done differently is what you want to take forward. So I think that's why we erase the past a little bit. We think, oh, I've learned everything there is to learn now. That's not going to go wrong this time. I've got the location thing under control. Nobody's going to quit on me this time. I've got the right cast in place. And then it's the thing you never saw coming, right? So, but that's what keeps us alert and alive. My sister used to say, now, when you go into the office, what's the first thing you do? And I said, well, I never get to that thing on the list. I have a list.
It's those other 2 fires. Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
So all the things that you're going to do, and then they're the things that you must do. I remember I interviewed with Ted Hope, who was like the big producer of indies in New York in the 90s. And in most interviews at the time were very conversational. They're like, who do you know? And do you know so-and-so? Wasn't it fun working on that show? And it was like a podcast interview. Yeah. And instead, he kind of interrogated me and he gave me these case scenarios of, so, your craft services person quits on the first day and so-and-so is doing this. What do you do? And I said, I put out I kick the crocodile closest to the boat, basically. I take care of the most imminent danger that's getting in the way of what's going to keep us from shooting that day. Because every day is so expensive when you're filming, you must take care of that. So that whether that's your location owner threatening to kick you out, or a cast member who is just really unhappy with their costume, whatever it is, you've got to deal with that first, and hopefully in a level-headed enough way that you can then solve that problem and move to the next one. And at a certain point, you do have a more of an instinct about what could go wrong, because you have your ear closer to the ground. When I first started out, I didn't, out of fear, have my ear to the ground. You would happily kind of skate above it, pretending everything was okay. But when you're really tuned in, there's less likely to blow up because you saw it coming.
Gretchen, we got to let the people know, how can they buy your book?
There's the book.
Good.
There's Center.
Good.
So it's available on Amazon, Barnes and Noble, and Indigo. I have a website you can put up too, and it sort of directs everyone to where they can get the ebook or the physical book, whichever they like to read. And I'm working on getting it into libraries.
Gretchen, thanks again. All the best with your book.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for watching this episode of the Quick Flick Critic Reviews and Interviews. Now I ask that you please subscribe and be notified of my continuous new episode announcements. As always, make it a great day and make it count. Goodbye, everybody.
Aww.